Hey, everybody. It says that we're live. I see people in chat. All right. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me? Check, check, check. Hello, hello. It's weird. It says 0 people watching. Oh, now it just shot up to 38. Can everybody hear me? All right. Check, check. Hello, hello. There we go. I can hear myself on my own end. All right, so how is everybody doing out there in YouTube land? This is, of course, the Flat Earth Super Special Extravaganza. And I have my co-host with me today, Shay, of course.
Hi.
There she is. All right, of those of you who remember, I had Shay with me last week, and we watched some ISS footage, and we pointed out some anomalies together, and you guys in the crowd jumped in and helped out. All right, so far we got Rose in the chat, Rose Bellman, Bill Thomas, Justin Manikai, Christopher, Oofmatic, Michael Feskins, RBJS, John Jaff, PJ CNET, Javid Ben Cosme. All right, Truth Nuggets, Jonna X. Hey, Jonna, we missed you last time. Glad you could make it. All right. Cool. Got a lot of people here. Oh, and I needed to start off by apologizing to Javid and Saul. Whenever Saul shows up, hopefully he will. I missed a couple super chats, and when I went back and watched the replay, I saw that I was talking and fiddling with these different options here on the software, and I missed a few super chats. So Javid, I apologize for missing one of your super chats last week. And so there we go. Get that out of the way. All right. So we got, what do we got? 83 people watching. Awesome. That's a nice start. All right, guys, hit that thumbs up button. And you know what? We might, just for good luck, we might even want to start by taking just a little hit. I don't know about you guys, but else we get in the zone. So I'm thinking we'll do one ceremonious toke of the bull to get us started. But I got to see at least, got to see like 40 thumbs up before we even get started, right? And I see 37 already, so that's good. So how about we see 40 thumbs up to get us started, and we'll ceremoniously light this thing up. That was easy enough. I just picked the number, and then I looked, and we were already pretty close. All right, so it doesn't look like Shay has anything, but I know that she smokes, so she probably already toked it up ceremoniously beforehand. Oh, now she's waving it off. No, she doesn't. I'm kidding.
Only when I'm in the closet.
It's something special that I do with my audience from time to time.
I approve. God's medicine. Oh, you got a super chat.
Oh, I did?
Of your behavior.
Oh, speaking of, I have this ability that I could show them. See?
Oh, and skeptic.
There we go. Super chat from PJ CNET says to help you get started. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Oh, we got another one coming in. Skeptic 936 says, "Sup, Jake, got your back from SAC." Well, shit, we're gonna have to meet up or something. I didn't know I had that many people in SAC. All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So this is a flat Earth stream. It's not a let's watch Jake get stoned stream. No. So what we're gonna talk about first, we're gonna basically like go back like it was 2015, 16, 17 again when the topic was hot, and we're gonna pretend like what it was like before we thought that the Earth might be flat or a different shape other than a ball. And I remember my first time hearing about it, and it was on Facebook. And I was already into conspiracies. I was already into 911 debunks and also chemtrail debunks. So I was already looking into well, or proof that chemtrails exist, I should say, not chemtrail debunks. But anyway, so I was looking into conspiracies at the time, and then I saw someone on Facebook say that the Earth is flat and that NASA is hiding it. And I remember thinking, well, that's just stupid. It's just so easy to prove that that's wrong. Oh, Javid with
I know.
a
I
super
just read
chat.
what he wrote. Made me laugh.
He
so
said funding drug money.
hard.
Oh, well, thank you, Javid. Yeah, your
Is it really
donation
the
will
drugs or is it a plant?
definitely keep me funded for sure. No, I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks. So I remember the first time seeing someone post it on Facebook was the first time I saw somebody say that the Earth was flat, and they seemed to be serious. So I remember going to Google and typing in Earth from space. I'm gonna go ahead and share that since I have that ability. Share. Earth from space. Where is it at? Oh, right in front of my face. Okay. So we share that.
Yeah.
And that's what comes up when you type in Earth from space, right? And immediately I was jarred by the fact that I thought that there was going to be like thousands and thousands of like pictures of Earth from space. And I thought that they were going to be more realistic looking. So I remember when first checking how jarring it was to see that this is your options that they give you. And even when you go to like NASA, you're like, no, I want to see the real ones. Each one will differ. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? And some of these are cartoons. You get what I mean? It's like this one right here looks like cartoonish to me. This one up here looks somewhat realistic, you know,
Which
and then
one has a CGI repeating clouds?
we'll look at that one in a minute. But I just wanted to show you how like you have so many like
So many
different options. And even when you type in NASA or real, you still get cartoony looking ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That don't seem to like look legitimate. They look CGI, you know? So that's what got the wheels turning in my head. And then I thought, well, there has to be satellites, right? Like, aren't there a bunch of satellites up there? Because that's what we're told. There's all these satellites up there. And then when you look up satellites in space, now let me share that one, we get the exact same problem. So you type in satellites in space, and then you get the same deal. You get all these like CGI cartoon pictures.
Yeah, that top right picture.
You know what I mean? Like shit like that. You don't even need to like look at that more than once to know that those are cartoons. And then the ones that are supposedly like real, like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that it just looks like they're hanging something in front of a green screen. You know, you just have a photo background and then you hang this glorified trash can in front. You know what I mean? So it's like they're just hanging these tin cans in front of pictures, or it's completely CGI. You know what I mean? Like this shit right here, it's like what is that? What they want us to believe is up there? Look at that. Yeah, man, they're all up there. Some of them are stationary and some of them are moving around. We got it all.
They never bump into each other.
Timed out and sequenced perfectly. And then stuff like this, it's like, what satellite lined up and took this picture of this other satellite and this other satellite and the Earth like that, you know? So it's like now you have satellites taking pictures of satellites would be the only way to obtain some of these photos. And so that's what initially got the wheels turning in my head. And also because at the time, flat Earth videos were popular. So we were getting a lot of pro flat Earth videos that were like, oh, those images you see, those are CGI, those are paintings, those are artwork. So some of the early examples like Matt Boylan, Matt Powerland, he did a comedy routine where he said, "You've never seen the Earth from outer space as a ball. Those are paintings." But then he
Hey, you
also
got a super
went
chat.
on. Oh, I did. He went on to say he painted them, and that's where he went wrong because he most definitely didn't. I got a super chat from Chris Money. No message attached, just a
Yay.
super chat. Thanks, Chris Money. I appreciate that, bro. You're a good guy.
Really good guy.
All right. So this is what started my wheels turning that there could be something to this. Was like the minute I went to debunk it, it was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What are the? I didn't even know how ridiculous satellites looked. Like I knew satellites were up there in my mind, but I didn't know how stupid that they look. Like look how stupid they look, and they all are different stupid looking boxes with wings. And so that was like an eye opener for me, is that you think something as easy as like there's thousands of pictures. And then when you start to look for those pictures, that's when you run into this issue. And then, of course, when you look for like, how come the pictures are CGI? And apparently they have their answer for that too. And it's because it has to be, right? That's the answer that they give.
Super chat from David.
Hold on a sec. Let me get my next part together.
Okay, super chat. Hi,
Shay.
Shay. Flat Earth Deception. Satanic New World Order map video. Not all the info suck in yet. We are working on it.
It's all a work in process. You know, it's hard when there's not only the NWO against you, but also a team of shills who are pushing the wrong info against you as well. And there's not a whole lot of love in the alternative flat Earth communities right now for trying to figure out what's going on.
Take a hike.
So we are this small resistance community that is at least attempting to like talk about
1%.
At least to try and attempt to talk about it again. Even if we don't get it right, we can at least bring up some issues that we both identify with current maps and models, and at least get a serious discussion started that's not overran by trolls and shills. So that was step one. And thank you, Javid, for the super chat. So let me go ahead and bring up Globe Point 2.0, and I have it ready to go here because that's what we're told. There it is. Boom. So that's what we're told is a real picture of Earth. It's a bunch of photographs from space that they stitched together in Photoshop. So they will admit that it is Photoshop, but it has to be. Have you heard that one before?
Why does it have to be? With today's technology, why does it have to be?
Well, apparently, they say that when they took all the photos and stitched these ones together, that they weren't quite far back enough to get it all in the one frame. So this one, they took a bunch of photos closer to the Earth, and then they stitched them together in Photoshop. And then they also took artistic liberties with making the ocean all bright, like shiny blue like that, and then adding this glistening spot there, like underneath Baja. And then they even went as far as to copy and paste the clouds. So what I like about this image is it's got such an easy like debunk to it. You just have to go down here and blow it up, and you can show your friends and be like, oh, let me go this way. There it is. Right here.
They're saying my phone is choppy and laggy. Should I try to come back with my phone instead?
What'd they say? Who's laggy?
My feed is... Oh, Chris just sent you another super chat with a message. They said my feed's choppy and laggy. Should I try to come back with my phone?
You can try, yeah.
Okay. Kick me out.
Chris Money says, damn it, I meant to attach a message to that last one. So I guess you'll get another 10. My fave CGI globes are the NASA trolls us by putting reoccurring patterns and the word sex in the clouds. Y'all seen that? Oh yeah, sex in the clouds. Yeah, I remember that one. This one right here, though, because Blue Marble 2.0 is such a popular image, you can definitely see that that is a Photoshop right there. See these clouds right here, or I mean a duplicate of those clouds. So they just copy and pasted these parts right here. And I've actually shown this to people and had them look me right in the face and say, no, they just kind of look the same. Those are just clouds that kind of look the same. Sometimes clouds kind of look the same. I'm like, no, you can't deny that those are copy and pasted clouds. But a hardcore glober who wants to cling to this globe will tell you that those are copy and pasted clouds. Oh, Lula texting me. She's funny. Oh, here's Shay coming back.
Hello, is this better? I hope this is better.
I told you were getting a little glitchy and choppy before. I mean, it looks about the same to me, but if they can hear you, then that'll help. As long as they can hear you clear, then
okay,
we'll make it through.
I think it'll be better when it uploads.
Yeah, it's like when it uploads, it gets better. Anyway, so this image right here, and they all have this Blue Marble 2.0. They have this very noticeable copy and pasted group of clouds that all you have to do is just zoom in on and it's there. And so they use that one on a lot of stuff. It's very popular. So the more globes I looked at, the more issues I would find with all of them. You know, like sometimes they'll have United States representing the entire top portion of Earth, twice as big as this even. And then, you know, on other globes, it's a lot smaller, yet the globes will be from the exact same size and perspective. Let me get that chat off the screen. Shit. I missed another one, I think. And then Javid, I think, sent one. Said, I learned about that sex cloud from David Weiss, ironically. I found Jake from his app, too. Oh, wow. I'm glad he's promoting me. He's doing one thing right, I guess. But so when it comes to guys like him, he's definitely in my shill list. If I was going to make a shill list, David Weiss would definitely be on the Flat Earth shill list. In fact, the more I look at David Weiss, it's starting to look like he's got some sort of mask on. I know that sounds weird, but the dude almost looks like he's wearing a mask. I could be wrong about that.
There's something weird. Yeah.
There's something weird about and he's always got to have his backwards hat on. Like, I don't have to have this hat on, and I can do this. And my face is still there. So I just want to like
have on a mask.
I just want to see him do.
This is my real face.
No, there's something weird about
my real hair.
There's something weird about David Weiss, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I mean, I know he's a shill, but the more I look at the dude, it's like there could be even more to it. So I'm not positive that he's wearing a mask or whatever, but I am positive that the dude's a shill because he's been pushing that AE map for a long time, and he profits off that AE map, and he pushes that application because he's the creator of it, and he receives money for everyone who downloads it and then pays for the premiums and stuff. And it's a tracking app. And so if you bring up the fact that it's a tracking app, you know what they say? You're already being tracked by the government. They're already watching you. So they don't even deny that it's a tracking app. They'll just tell you that you're already being watched and already being tracked. Just noting that if you've downloaded that application, David Weiss basically can look at you while you pee. Maybe. All right. Let me go. Javid says he's just going bald. RBJS says Weiss is in it for the money. He doesn't care about truth. Exactly. So it's not just that though. These shills are sworn to protect that AE map and to keep pushing it and promoting it, and so that's what they keep doing, of course. All right. So before we get to the AE map, I wanted to ask you, Shay, what year did you start getting into flat Earth stuff? I don't think I've asked you that.
What year?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, like 2000. I don't know. I can't think of it. Like 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay, so like 2017.
Yeah, around then.
Okay. All right. Just wondering, because some people are more new to the subject and kind of missed that big flat Earth explosion. There was in 2015, 16, and 17, there was like a flat Earth explosion, and there was a lot of info.
Yeah, I missed the flat Earth explosion. Hold on, I want to get the year right. I'll tell you. Well, you can keep talking while hey, 992 subscribers, thanks to you.
Yeah. So Shay has her own YouTube channel. And she's almost up over 1,000. So you can go if you want to pump your link in the chat, you can do that to your YouTube channel.
So 3 years ago. 3 years ago. So still kind of a baby truther. Well, I don't want to use that.
Oh, I'm gonna use that name.
Not one of those chill kind.
All right, so let me bring up this heliocentric model, and this is one that I like to show people when I want to debunk like the motion through space, because they say that our sun is shooting 448,000 miles an hour through space. That's what they say. Looks something like that, right?
This is happening while it's doing this. Unbelievable.
So they say that that's what's going on right there.
How can anyone watch that and believe that, knowing that we're not moving right now? We can't feel this.
So
we've been on a ride.
Here's one of my debunks for this movement is like they say that that's our sun and we're shooting through space. And then also you have to say that the other stars in space are also shooting through space just like this, right? So all these other stars in the background are also doing the exact same thing at probably the same speed or more, maybe a little less, but let's just say around the same speed. All these other stars in the background have to also be shooting through space at different directions, right? They're not all going the same direction. So all those stars in the background are doing the same thing, all shooting away from each other. So keep that in your head, that everything's shooting around like that. And then here's my debunk. All right, I'll stop sharing that one. And then we're going to go to my favorite constellation, which is the Big Dipper. All right, let me pull that one up. What do I have on screen right now? Just me and you. Okay. Pull up my Big Dipper photo. And remember, keep that in your head that we're shooting through space. We're shooting through space, And so are those stars on the Big Dipper, right? Are these stars on the Big Dipper also shooting through space? Well, according to science, yes, right? We're in agreement. According to mainstream science, those stars right there that make up the Big Dipper are also shooting through space, right? Are we following? So I asked the question, how come the shape of the Big Dipper doesn't change over time? Like maybe not my lifetime, but what about like my great grandpa's grandpa? Did he see that same exact shape? And the answer is yes. The first human who ever recorded these shapes saw these exact same shapes thousands and thousands of years ago, right? According to mainstream science. So through all our entire human existence, that has stayed the exact same shape. Meanwhile, they're all supposedly shooting in different directions, all those stars, as we are also shooting in a different direction, right? So how can we always be shooting towards this exact constellation while all those stars are also shooting away in different directions, and yet it stays that same shape? It's basically impossible. And so the mainstream answer to this, the scientific answer, and this is all they got, it's far away. It's so far away. It's like so far away that like your little brain just can't fathom how far away it is. Like Shay, like you're just such a tiny little insignificant nothing, nobody, and your life is like a tiny little blip that is meaningless. And guess what? All human existence is just this tiny little blip on the radar annals of time. And so, for that reason, it appears that all the stars are in the same spots as they've always been, night after night after night. But they are indeed all moving at unfathomable speeds all the time. It's just because they're so far away and your life is so short and meaningless. You can't tell.
Millions of light years.
That's their answer. There's no like good scientific like reasoning. It's literally
Polaris never moves.
Far away.
Why can't they explain Polaris? And there's no star beyond Polaris. It's just a big black empty space.
So, that's the constellation that to me is the most recognizable and easy to spot, even if you don't know much about constellations. Like if you live in America, anywhere where that constellation is visible, it's super easy to spot. And so that's why I like to use it as my example, is because a lot of people have seen that. And when you have it outlined with the lines and the shape right there, and then you visualize in your head, okay, each one of those is a star shooting at 500,000 miles an hour or more in different directions, yet that same shape remains year after year after year.
And you can navigate with it.
Yeah, I want to like know, well, how long before it does change shape? And then we see some new stars, because not only should these change shape, we should see some new stars that we haven't seen before. So that's one I like to use to debunk motion. And there's always going to be a globber excuse, but their excuse is weak. This is one of their weakest excuses, in my opinion. So far away. That's it. That's all they got on this. So far away. And you're like, the entire human existence who saw that shape saw it just like that and recorded it just like that. So far away. That's what they want to say. Fine, I'll give them that excuse because it's stupid, and I'll consider that a debunk in my book.
Yeah, the constellations are consistent, and they do debunk the globe and the flat Earth map.
All right, so I'll put that one away, and then we can move on to this one that deceives pretty much all of us. I'll move on to the AE map because we all get deceived at some point or another. Let me share that. And I fell for this one hook, line, and sinker at first. And it's because it is easy enough. It seems like it would make sense. There we go. All right, so there's the azimuthal equidistant map with the ice wall, of course, and the sun going around in a circle. So we're all familiar with that. And I, of course, got duped by this map, and it's easy to because it makes everything seem very simple and very easy. You know, like the sun just goes around in the circle, and it's like a flashlight over the top of a dinner plate. And in the summertime for us, in our summer months, July, August, let's say, it's up there in that smaller ring, the Tropic of Cancer. And then in our winter months, let's say January, December, it's down there on that Tropic of Capricorn, that outer ring. Oh, I got some super chats coming in. I don't want to talk and miss them. Shavid says, do you guys agree with Weiss about how he says stars disappear once you get high enough altitude?
Never heard it.
God, you know what? I haven't been on an airplane in years.
It was just on one.
And I wasn't looking. And last time I was on one, it was a daylight flight. So I haven't been on a night flight since I was like a kid or a teenager at least. Maybe early 20s, but I wasn't looking at I wasn't thinking about it. So I haven't looked personally, so I can't say for sure. And then I got another donation from Kenny Homer, says we should obviously be seeing new stars. I have the Big Dipper taped to my ceiling. Why is it the exact same size in real life? Yeah, it's going to stay the same shape for the rest of your life, man. As we shoot through the galaxy at 500,000 miles an hour, apparently. Okay, so as we're looking at the AE map, here's something that you never hear any flat earther really mention, is that the Tropic of Cancer is smaller than the Tropic of Capricorn. And I've never seen a flat earther try and prove that. And you think that might be something that somebody could prove. But this map, I don't agree with anymore, but at first I did. But for instance, like that Tropic of Cancer in the middle is shorter than the equator and shorter than the Tropic of Capricorn. And so on a rectangle map, they would have all three lines the exact same going across, or a square map, they would all three be the exact same distance. On the globe, you would have the tropics being the same distance at the top and the bottom, and then in the middle, the equator would be the biggest. So the AE map, this circle map, is like the only one that has the Tropic of Cancer as being the smallest circle, the smallest circumference there. And so I've never seen any flat earther, for instance, David Weiss with his money, or flat earth millionaire Tanner. I've never seen these guys prove that inner circle, the Tropic of Cancer, is indeed smaller than the Tropic of Capricorn by a huge amount. So that's something on other maps that you don't see. So for instance, like I said, on the globe, the equator is going to be the biggest going around the middle of Earth. And then on a rectangle, they're all three going to be the exact same size. So
I don't like the piece of ice in the middle. I don't like the north in the center, that you could have a big piece of ice in the center of the Earth. That's not happening.
All right, so we'll get into some AE map debunks now, because I fell for the map, and around late 2017 is when I started being vocal about the debunks that I had found, and it caused quite a shockwave. So I'll go ahead and pull up the first one that got me started. Was the sun's path wasn't matching where they say it was. So I'll go ahead and share that. Okay, so the sun's path was during October, November, December. It was coming out of the southeast and setting to the southwest, like that arrow shows. And so people south of the equator, everywhere south of the equator, people were seeing this, the sun come up over the top of them and then set back towards the ice wall on this map. And then when you would check the flat earth time, or the David Weiss's app, or anybody trying to model this, they would have the sun heading back up north, way up, heading back up north. You see what I'm saying? And so what people were seeing was it was coming out of the southeast and setting to the southwest for everybody south of the equator. And it wasn't matching up to the circular path where the sun should always be coming at you from the north and then exiting towards the north again. So I even had some subscribers in Australia, and then underneath Australia, you got Tasmania. I had some subscribers there point their compass at the sun as it was setting, and it was indeed setting quite a bit towards the south west. So that was one thing that definitely got my mind turning, that this thing wasn't completely right, and that we might have got served like a Globe 2.0 smashed flat.
Basically, you guys know this came from the Flat Earth Society. That's who handed us this map. Everyone says, you can't trust the Flat Earth Society, they're shills, but then they'll hand you the map on a platter. It makes no sense. Whoa, if we don't trust them, we're not going to trust their map.
Got a huge super chat coming in. Says, Javid, skeptic at Javid Ben Cosme says, yes, stars disappear at about 120,000 feet from balloon vids I have seen, assuming they are real. And then he says, Terry R. Elcher, Flat Out Truth, is preparing to do a live balloon launch, a daytime and a nighttime one daytime and one nighttime. Okay. Hey, thanks for the heads up. I'll have to check that out. And thank you for the donation, man. That's very generous of you. I appreciate that. I'll leave that up on screen for a minute. I appreciate it. So let me go ahead and get this video I wanted to show real fast. Which one is it? There it is. Okay. So let me show a little video clip of the Tasmanian and Australian sub that I had that pointed their compass at the sun. And a lot of you have seen this before, the end of the fake flat earth, but just in case, for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll go ahead and share it. All right. Now I'll have to mute myself.
Sunrise and sunset angles absolutely prove that the sun does not go in a circle around an AE map or any other circular map. If you go to suncalc.net, you can actually find out where the sun is going to rise and where the sun is going to set. And apparently in the southern hemisphere, such as Australia, they're seeing the sun rise from the southeast and set in the southwest. Even in South Africa, they're seeing the sun set in the southwest. In South America, they're seeing the sun set in the southwest. Now, no matter where you drag the cursor around in the southern hemisphere at this time of year in October, the sun is setting to the southwest. That's a problem for the AE map because that's the opposite direction than the supposed circling sun. If people in the southern hemisphere are seeing the sun set to the southwest, that is in the entirely opposite direction than the supposed circling sun. So this is a glaring hole in the AE map and model. Now, I didn't just take suncalc.net's word for it. I actually asked some friends in Australia and further south to help me run some experiments. And here's what we came up with.
Hey guys, this is Alex. Okay, I'm in Warburton, which is in just east of Melbourne, about an hour east of Melbourne, in Australia. We're about, what are we? 37 degrees latitude south, sunset. Today's the 15th of October, 2017. And I thought you might be interested in seeing this. So here I've got a compass pointing directly at the sun. And it's showing that the sun is currently going down at about 249 degrees west. Now, if you know anything about the cardinal directions, you'll know that the sun only goes down in the summer here in the southern hemisphere as far as the Tropic of, the Tropic of Capricorn. The sun shouldn't be down past due west, okay, which is 270 degrees. Well, it's currently way down to 246 southwest, which means that it's basically, as far as Melbourne is concerned, heading straight towards the South Pole. So I'd like to know if someone can explain that. I don't want any convoluted answers, but just a simple explanation as to why it's not up at least beyond further north than due west, which is what it should be.
Now, some folks may claim, well, the Tropic of Capricorn runs through Australia, so possibly people in Australia are seeing the sunset to the southwest as some sort of weird perspective issue. Now your problem becomes folks in Tasmania are also seeing the sunset to the southwest, and they live south of the Tropic of Capricorn.
It is the 18th of the 10th, 2017, Devonport, Tasmania. Currently watching the sun starting to set right now. My last field of view. It is currently now setting. I'm not sure if you can see that out correctly or not. There we go. You have to forgive me, I'm using the sun filter. There we go, 260 degrees, just south of west. It is the 20th of October in Devonport, Tasmania. The current time is 7:17 p.m. The sun now, on my last visual sight of the horizon, is setting at 254 degrees south of west. I've lined up my compass properly. Which I do have sitting right here. You can see clearly that the compass is set on north and it's south of west.
All right, we're back. Okay, so right there, well, let me show us. Here we go. So it actually gets further towards the south as you get later into the winter for our winter. It's their summer. So basically, this was in October, and it's already starting to set towards the south. And so going into November, it sets even further to the south. And then in December, that's when it's at its most southerly point. That's when the sun is coming out of the southeast and the southwest from the most extreme southern position that it gets at, and then it starts heading back after the new year. So that's in October, and even that right there isn't supposed to be happening on the AE map. So from October, November, December, those are the months where you can point a compass at the sun south of the equator, and your results are not going to match the azimuthal equidistant map.
Javid.
Oh, I'm miss one. Let's see. Hold on. Shit. Hold on. There it is. Said he's currently taking donations to fund the balloon project. Well, hopefully he does it and doesn't do anything scammy or sleazy, because there has been balloon projects in the past where people have taken donations and then like lost the balloon or had like the balloon pop or whatever. So or they just don't launch it and just steal the money. So when it comes to donating to experiments, if it's a good person who you believe in, you know, I understand you want to help people out, but at the same time, you have to look at their track record. You know, there are guys who fail flat Earth experiments on purpose. Jaron, Jaron. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, I'll just say that. So this is a documentary I put out, The End of the Fake Flat Earth. I put it out in 2017, and then I re-released it in 2021 when I started battling these shills all over again. And they really don't have much of an answer for the sun's path. So that's when they'll admit that their pizza pie map is not perfect, but it's the best we got. That's what they say. Have you heard that one before, Shay? Well, it's not perfect, but it's the best we got.
Yes, and that drives me nuts too. It's not, but that's exactly what ODD said to me when we were talking about it. And I'm like, no, look at it.
Yeah, best.
Why, how are you promoting that?
Yeah, best is an opinion. And so they'll say, well, it's the best we got. And then another thing is they'll say that the sun shrinks down into a dot in a dry climate. And then in a wet climate, the sun, when it's like rising and setting, will get bigger. And they say in a dry climate, as the sun moves away, it'll shrink into a dot. And I prove that one wrong as well. And I'll just show that real quick. This is in Las Vegas, Nevada, 0 humidity.
Into a little teeny weeny little dot before it disappears? Or have you only seen that on a video? Video screen or a TV screen? Have you ever seen it with your actual eyes?
It does change, and the changes are most.
Food has the power to take us to new places. But when we get there, we're home.
Due to the atmosphere. So I can show you a picture of the sun setting in the desert where it's very dry, and you'll see the sun shrink and shrink into a tiny, tiny pinprick before it disappears into the horizon. And then I can show you another video on a more over the ocean, say, on a more humid day. The sun is going to actually expand a little bit due to the atmosphere and then disappear into the horizon like a big ball, as many people have seen it.
So I'm in the desert. I'm in Nevada, about 100 miles outside of Las Vegas. It's over 100 degrees. I don't know if you can read that. It's 104 outside. See the sun? It's pretty damn big, and it's sinking into the horizon. Now, Eric Dubé says that the sun gets bigger when it goes down because of the moisture in the air and the humidity in the air. And he says when you're out in the desert where it's dry, the sun shrinks into a dot. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm in the desert. It's over 100 degrees. There's no humidity, and the sun ain't shrinking into no fucking dot. All right? And I've never seen the sun shrink into a dot in my entire life, except in videos. So, those of us who've ever been to the desert, like me right now, the sun does not turn into a dot. It gets just as big as it does and goes down when I'm at the ocean. Booyah. How much?
Definitely not
Okay.
turning into a tiny dot.
There we go. Sorry for those commercials in there. It's like every time I switched back to the studio, it would start playing a commercial, and then I have to like scramble back over there to shut it off. So the commercials weren't supposed to be in there, but you guys get it. I was in the desert. I was in Las Vegas in 2017, and there was no humidity, zero humidity. The sun was going down. It was 104 degrees outside. And so the sun was definitely not shrinking into a dot. And their only excuse was, oh, well, you're in the desert, but the sun's out over the ocean. So now it's like, now you have to like perceive where you think the sun is. So now it doesn't matter where you are seeing it. Aren't you the one noticing whether it's going to shrink into a dot or not? So now you're telling me like it won't shrink into a dot if I'm in the desert, but then it's over the ocean. It's like that's some bullshit right there. So apparently this sun shrinks into a dot, but I've never seen it happen except on video. I've only seen the sun get bigger as it comes up or goes down. Right? Have you ever seen the sun shrink into a dot?
It's not
So
doing that.
that's what I don't like about footage like that. And people think Eric Dubé is like the gospel god of flat Earth. And
He doesn't have Polaris right either.
He'll say, yeah, he's got the AE map wrong. He says that the sun shrinks into a dot. And that's not even getting into the fact that he likes to dress like a lady sometimes and he follows a vegan diet. So barring those things, he at the minimum has the wrong map. And what else did I just say?
Are you seeing the super chats?
Oh, I did. One just went by. I think I missed it.
Skeptic and Retro Bill.
Shit. I missed a couple. Retro Bill says, thanks for the early notification vid, Jake. Loving the stream with Shay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And Skeptic with another one. Says thumbs up to Javid. Oh, I like that. He gives me a donation.
I love this conversation where they're talking to each other in super chat.
Yeah, they're talking to each other through super chat.
Yeah.
I get to cash in on their conversation.
That's nice.
The kind of way that I make money.
You guys keep talking. Keep chatting among yourselves.
I have to do it where.
Oh, Javid, he's answering.
Javid says, flat out truth, Jerry R. Eicher, if I hope I'm saying his name right. Eicher is his channel. And then there's the link to the project. Okay. Thanks again, Javid. Hey, you've been super kind with the super chats today, Javid.
Yeah.
You're awesome with the donations. I appreciate that. These donations do help fund this project. I did pay for a year subscription for this software, and so it helps, to be able to give you guys a good stream and have the video clips and all the ability to share it with you and have guests and stuff. So glad you guys are here. Glad we're all having fun, and we still have some AE map debunks to get to.
Skeptic replied. I love this. You got 2 more super chats. Conversation's still going.
And Skeptic says, thanks, Javid. All right.
And then Retro Bill replied.
Retro Bill says, might as well get in on the action.
Hey, Retro. Yes.
All right.
Might as
Thanks,
well.
Retro
It's
Bill.
so fun.
Thanks,
Hey.
Skeptic. Oh, my God. Here we
Getting
go.
on it.
Javid says, funding the drugs, bro.
It's
No.
medicine. It's
No,
not
there's
a
more
drug.
to it than that. More to it. Like,
Plant.
honestly, I got to pay rent here in the office. I got to keep the phone going. The spy device that spies on me that I use to create content. Got to keep that going. Got to keep food in my stomach and Rusty's stomach. So there's plenty of stuff to spend it on besides drugs. So believe it or not, here in California, weed's on the cheaper side. And if you got the hookup, especially during grow season, you can really get some good deals. So the green over here isn't nearly as expensive as in other parts of the world where it's more scarce, or in states where the laws are ass backwards. So you are funding me, but you're not really funding the drugs so
Red
much.
lunar eclipse. Oh, the eclipse. Is it now? Is it going
No,
to now?
it starts soon. I think it starts at 10:30 for you and 7:30 for me is when it starts. But it's not a full one until 11:30 for you and 8:30 for me. So I'm Pacific, Shay's on Eastern time zone. So we're going to end the stream in like an hour, and everyone can go outside and look at the eclipse. How about that? So we'll shut it down in maybe
Super
another
chat.
hour, and then we'll go. Everyone
I'm
can
gonna
go
post
outside.
my link for Mountaineer. I'm gonna post my link for you.
Yeah, post the link for your channel. I don't have your channel pulled up here in my tab,
Right,
so
I'm-
post. And I made you a mod, so you can post your link. I'm pretty sure. Javid said, want to send some extra money so you can try Wagyu steak for your carny diet. Yeah, I actually haven't tried it. I've seen videos on YouTube of people like buying it and cooking it and stuff. So I would try it. I would want to eat some of it raw and like barbecue some of it.
Somehow I turned on incognito instead of like grab my link. Good technology.
That's not what you wanted to do.
I know. I don't know how to turn that off.
Ask Retro Bill, how is the weather where you are?
Okay.
Now I'm getting a super chat where somebody in chat asks someone else in chat how's the weather. Retro Bill says, oh
I want to know, how's the weather?
All right,
Is it
now
good?
Miss Anthropic says, is this enough for a joint? Yeah, a virtual joint. Here, let me roll you a virtual joint. Woo! There you go. We'll send it through the interwebs to you. All right. Oh my God. Retro Bill says it's hot here in LA. Yeah, same with here in Sacramento area. It was 95 degrees today, I want to say. And last time I went outside, the sun was setting and starting to set. It was getting down and it was still in the high 70s. So it was warm. What about you, Shay? How cold is it? You're in Michigan area.
It's been warm here, but it's usually cold. I think it's been in the high 70s, 80s.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Never feels that hot here, though. It's always windy.
Javid Ben Cosme says, have a chef cook it for you medium rare first, bro. It's amazing. I am a chef, bro. I trust myself more than I trust anyone in a kitchen. I've blown my mind with food many times. If I take the time and energy to cook good food,
I
I'm
think
pretty
I
damn
did
good.
that right. I think that's the link to my channel.
Thanks, Javita. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to. I'll do like a video if I do the Wagyu steak thing, which I should. There's no reason not to. I'll make a video out of it, and then I'll maybe even get ad revenue on that so that I can get the steak paid for. Super chats and ad revenue. It'll be a free Wagyu steak. What is it, like $200 an ounce or some shit?
Did you see Skeptic loves you in retro?
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. All right. So before I get sidetracked too much here, let me get back to the AE map real quick because I did have some other stuff. Oh, before we get there. So here's a flat earth proof. Almost forgot to show this. A flat earth proof. The Rogers Center across Lake Ontario. And the Globers will claim that, oh, it's refraction, it's a mirage, blah, 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 blah. They always have an excuse. But I think that it's a good flat earth proof myself. Rogers Center. There we go. All right, and this one we can talk during it. I have the sound turned off on this one.
It's a mirage.
All right, so that is that white building is the Rogers Center, and that is the Toronto skyline. And on a clear day, when conditions are right, with a P900, you can zoom across 30 miles across there. I think it's almost like 31 miles across. And the Rogers Center should be tucked away under curvature. Now, you can't go using that 8 times the mile when you square the mile chart because the Globers will say that you didn't use refraction, you didn't take the observer height into consideration. So see how she shows she's right on the shore? So a girl named Jenna took this one, and she's right on the shore. She shows her feet next to the water, and she puts the camera on the tripod right here. And watch her zoom in, and that white building is where the Toronto Blue Jays play baseball.
Wow.
And that's 282 feet tall, that building. So the refraction hidden says that should be still underneath the curve of the Earth, hidden. So you shouldn't be able to see that building. And you can look it up. That building's 282 feet tall. And so she put in the parameters to the curvature calculator created by a shill named Mick West, and she beat it. And so you know what he did? He went and added more variables, and he changed the curvature calculator. So even when you beat these guys, they'll go back and push the goalposts back. Watch. Let me show you. Here we go. So see
Did
right
you see
here.
the last two super chats? Skeptic.
Yeah, I'll read them in 1 sec. Let me show you guys this. So hidden is supposed to be 516 feet, and then they say refracted hidden 435 feet. See where it says that? And this right here is Mick West's curvature calculator. See how it says calculator by Mick West Metabunk. And so this calculator was created to explain away people seeing the skyline across a body of water like that, or seeing something that they're not supposed to see on the flat plane. This calculator was created for the Globers to quote unquote debunk you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so here's the thing. You see, if it says 516 feet hidden, well, obviously we shouldn't see that Rogers, the Rogers Center, if it's only 282 feet tall. So even with refraction, we still beat it. So you know what Mick West did? He created all these new variables. If I went to Mick West's curvature calculator right now, he's got an entire new set of variables because this video destroyed his calculator. So now he has this little disclaimer that it's not accurate over large bodies of water. unless the weather is like these perfect conditions that he sets the parameters for. So he went and changed these parameters, added more parameters, and even added a disclaimer that it's not accurate over water. Imagine that after he watched this video. And I know he saw it, the guy who made this website saw it, because he fucking showed up to the comment section and threw a fit. And he's a popular shill too. So the Mick West curvature calculator got debunked. And so all the globers will now use the new version, and they'll say that you're looking at this refracted mirage, basically. They'll say, or they'll just say, oh no, with observer height and refraction and this and that and the other, you should be able to see the Rogers Center. And so then they'll back up the goalposts even further and be like, well, how come you can't see the very bottom of the building? That's the Earth's curvature right there. That's what they say. So they'll say that you can't see the bottom of the building. Like, how come you can't see the people in the parking lot? Curvature. All right, so let me get these super chats that I miss. Skeptic says, come fish Folsom Lake for landlocked king salmon. I would love to. I haven't been fishing in years. I used to go fishing. I used to always have a fishing license every year, and then I haven't been in like probably 5 years. I haven't been fishing. So I'm definitely due. Thanks again for that super chat, and I think I missed another one. A couple maybe. Skeptic says, shout out to Jenna Fredo. Yeah, sad thing with her. She went full on Trump tard, and I stopped talking to her. I got really angry because I was like talking to her like a friend. Like, you can't possibly fall for this. You're too smart to fall for this, Jenna. He's not on your side. He's never going to be on your side. Don't fall for it. She's like, well,
he's bullying so many people.
She's like, well, you could be right. And then she goes on Facebook. She's like, vote for Trump. Vote for Trump. Everybody needs to vote for Trump. Otherwise, evil's going to take over the world. And it's like, no. And then even after he lost, she's like, it's not over yet.
Evil.
I'm like, no. I'm like, I got so mad that I actually
get people out of that left-right matrix.
I got so mad at her. I stopped talking.
Here.
That's what sucks, is when somebody who you respect or is a truther goes down a rabbit hole and falls for something.
Like
QAnon. No! I've fallen for shit too, but Trump, come on.
I have friends that think that JFK Jr. is still alive and he's coming back, and yeah, the whole Q thing drives me nuts.
Skeptic says, coming to Riverbank to fish. Well, I used to live in Riverbank, but I don't live there anymore. I live in the Sacramento area, but I used to live in Riverbank a long time ago. Well, a few years back. And they do have a river that runs through there. That's why they call it Riverbank, the Stanislaus River. And it is got some good fishing parts in it. It's also kind of dirty and shitty in some areas, but there's some big, fat, huge striped bass in there. I've seen people pull monster stripers out of that river. So thanks for that one. Did I miss any?
Just wrote.
Did I miss any other ones?
Skeptic. Yeah, go to
from earlier. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Love you, Jake and Rich. Oh yeah, we did see that.
No, down. My bad on Jenna.
Okay. No, it's fine. She did take this footage, and it is good. It's like, in my opinion, like one of the best P900 flat Earth videos that there is. My problem only with her is that she became a Trump tard, but the video that she took was awesome. So
happened to some really great people.
So yeah, this video right here, that building should be tucked under curvature. And the globers really start having to give you some BS answers when they see this one. And I think it's incredible, these cameras, when you pull back. Like, look at the birds in the water, the seagulls.
Yeah.
Now watch the way the seagulls disappear and the Rogers Center disappears, and it's like this tiny little speck of white, basically, when you pull it back. And there go the birds. Whoop.
Wow, that is the best footage. I've never seen this before.
And then she shows
love
her
this
feet right
footage.
there. See, like that
Oh.
right there, that is boss. Because then
Yeah.
they can't claim that she was up on some hill or some shit. Because they always will say something like that. Oh, she was up on a hill. There's 30 feet of observer height. Because the more height, observer height they get on you, then they can say that you should be able to see that. And so there are days where you can't see it that clear. But when conditions are good, a lot of those buildings should be tucked away. And of course, all they'll do is be like, well, you can't see the people in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, you can't see the parking lot. That's curvature. That's what they'll do. So again, globers always have an excuse, but in my opinion, that is some good flat earth proof footage right there.
What else? The other thing that bothers me about the globe is think about how some areas have tons of buildings, super populated, and then some areas don't have any buildings at all. So do they have to account for the spin of the earth when they're building buildings like right next to each other? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You're putting weight on this ball that's spinning perfectly.
No, they have to.
Change it?
I've heard that they account for. I've heard from architects. I've heard people say that architects account for curvature, but then I've also heard.
But what about the spin?
No, not the spin. No, building something, the spin, they wouldn't take that into account. But let's say, like, if you're tunneling through a mountain, I've heard that they take curvature into consideration. But then if you talk to somebody who's ever worked on a crew that does that, they're like, no, we did not take curvature into consideration. We were going in one side and coming straight out the other side. Right. So and then train tracks and stuff too. You have to. So they say they take curvature into consideration, but then when you dig deeper, you'll find no, they don't. Okay, so that right there is one of my favorite actual flat Earth proofs. And also wanted to say,
that was a good one.
You don't see a lot of people doing this anymore. In 2015, 16, and 17, when people got this camera, this P900, they would go out and do this. And you don't see people really doing this anymore, mostly because A, the subject's not as popular anymore, but B, the globers were like, oh, that's a refraction, that's mirage. You didn't use the curvature calculator. You were up on a hill. You didn't give your observer height. La, 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 la. So they always have excuses. So people basically stopped doing this. But there was a time on YouTube where a lot of people were doing this with boats and little islands and stuff out there. So imagine like little buoys and islands out there. So people were doing lots of different P900 tests. You know, and this one was just the most thorough of using the curvature calculator, beating it, showing your feet next to the shore, having it on a tripod and stuff, so you could get a nice even zoom in. So props to Jennifer for this one. Still my favorite flat Earth video as far as go. But according to the shills, you know, it's proof of a globe. Personal incredulity. It's proof of a globe, is what they say. All right. So then we go back to the AE map. So we are saying that I think, if I was to say what I think it is, I think that it's flat. But I personally haven't got it all figured out yet. But it seems to me that it's flat, more so than a ball or concave. And so we could look at the AE map again. Let me pull up some AE map debunks here. Here's one that we talked about before. I know you like this one. It's the opposite star trails. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, I like that one.
There.
That's because there's two magnetic ends of the Earth, not just one. It's not unipolar. There's two. Like every magnet that exists has two ends, north and south.
So they see the stars spin around Sigma, what is it called? Sigma Octus or whatever? The southern
star?
Yeah, but they call it Sigma whatever. Sigma something or other. anyway, so they spin around that spot in the sky. And at the tip of South America, they see that southern rotation. And then at the tip of Africa and Cape Town, they see that same southern rotation. And then in Australia, same deal. And then at the equator, they see the stars going across straight. And then for us, like let's say where we live in the United States, and anyone in the northern hemisphere, we see the opposite star spin. And that doesn't make any sense on this map. And guys like Eric Dubé will tell you it's a straw man attack and that's not really happening.
But if you
there
go
are,
to the true center of the Earth, you can watch it
yeah, there's people who live in Australia who are subbed to my channel who tell me that they see that happening. And so all you have to do is ask people who live in those areas what's going on. So they do see an opposite spin out there, and that doesn't work too well on an AE map.
Same
to
thing
be able
with
to
oceans.
to be able to look
Spot.
off this direction towards the ice wall, this direction towards the ice wall, this direction. Oh, and all those different directions, south.
Yeah, okay, so here's
All of
the
them
problem
south.
with the directions. If you put a compass on this map, every single direction is going to point to every single direction. North will point in every single direction on this map. So will south, so will east, so will west. It's not navigational. You can never use a compass with this map.
And so this map, yeah, that's one of the issues, the star trails. I definitely.
Oh, get Javid's super chat.
Okay, let me pull the
I think it's part of the
chat up here. I've got one from Retro Bill, says, I wonder what Jake looks like in zero gravity. Well, I might have to do a reenactment.
He has a video for that. His music video. Have you seen it? He's definitely floating in space.
Javid says, Kevlar the welder currently working on the new 8-lane bridge in Hampton, Virginia. I'm a welder. I've talked to every surveyor and several engineers on the job. They have all told me they don't factor curvature. That's precisely what I was saying. So globers who like Simon Dan or some English Nancy boy, like Fight the Fat Ass Craig will be like, don't you know that land surveyors, they have to take curvature, they calculate the curvature. Don't you know personal incredulity? So they'll tell you shit like that, sitting behind their computer, not knowing jack shit. Meanwhile, when you actually like ask a guy who works like in that department, no, they don't. So yeah, exactly. So they have curved bridges, but the curve a lot of times is because of they don't want to have a straight bridge for weight distribution purposes, and to make it nice and strong, they'll purposely curve a bridge. It's not because they're trying to like fashion the curved bridge to the exact curve line of the water. So there are bridges out there that'll purposely have a curve in them. So you can't just like look at a bridge that's curved and be like, well, look, that one right there is curved. So that's because of the Earth's curvature. Thanks, Javid, for yet another donation. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the love tonight, man. I got some more AE map stuff here I wanted to show you guys. So the daylight hours is another major flaw. In fact, it's a huge flaw. Let me bring it up.
Yep.
For instance, in December, you have this situation going on where all those southern towns right there are in daylight, and they all get like 17 hours of sunlight. So imagine the sun at this time, it would be like right here. This would be like noon for this. It'd be if the sun was right here. Ushuaia at this time is it 8 in the morning, and then Tasmania over here is at 8 at night. So Tasmania is at this one Tasmania's in the morning, and Ushuaia's at night. So Ushuaia's still seeing the sun, and Tasmania's seeing the sun. So they can both see the sun at the same time. And all these places have to get 17 hours of sunlight. Meanwhile, in the middle, the North Pole's dark. So you have to ask yourself, let's say if the sun's down here, it's got to light up these corners like this. Meanwhile, the middle's in darkness. So it has to create this funky shape like this to where over here it's morning. You see what I'm saying? And over here it's night. I mean, over here the sun's about to go down. See what I'm saying? To where both both these locations, Ushuaia and Tasmania, can see the sun at the exact same time.
Yeah.
12 hours apart. So one of them will see it in the see it coming up in the morning, and one of them will see it going down at night. But it'll still be visible for both those two locations. And you know where the sun will be on the app? Down here, in between both of them.
Yeah.
The sun would be down here.
Sense.
Yeah, because you can't have the sun over here making this shape, and you can't have the sun up in Tasmania making this shape. So when the sun's over the top of Africa, right in this demonstration, somehow this darkness in between those two locations in the North Pole, they get their 24-hour darkness going on. Well, it's because the sun's going around this outer rim, and so they would have to have this middle portion dark. You see the problem with having the sun
huge problem.
Light up these locations way over on the side over here, but meanwhile closer, the North Pole's even closer.
The only way the 24-hour sun is going to work is one is at one end, the other is at the other end, and it's exact opposites of the Earth, just like a compass shows.
What they say, the AE mappers say that there is no 24-hour light in the south. So they'll tell you that there's no 24-hour light in the south, but then they have to try and somehow light up these locations that are near the ice wall. That's why I like Ushuaia, because see how close it is to the ice wall down there?
Mm-hmm.
In January, or December and January, that gets 17 hours of sunlight.
Yeah.
So how are you going to spin the sun around and light up that spot down there that long? And so that's where they run into this issue where they have to make all these different funky shapes.
In order for this to work, the map has to fit inside of it. North and south, opposite ends of the Earth. West and east, opposite ends of the Earth. That map does not work with the sun. And the sun was a huge problem for me, too.
Okay. And then
I turned off my light. It was making my eyes burn.
And then that, of course, gives you this situation where if you want to try to make it work, then you have to have this morphing sun lamp shade over the top.
Yeah.
Let me bring that up. And my audience who's been watching me a long time, a lot of them have seen this material before. This is some repeated material for some of you. But so what you'd have to have in June is this circular portion lit up like this, and then the rest in darkness. And then you'd have to light up this half pie shape for the equinoxes, March and September, right? You have to have a half pie lit up.
Yeah.
And then my favorite, you have to do this shape over here somehow, right? Like, which goes all the way around the ice wall. You get what I'm saying with light over there. So that light's going all the way around the ice wall. See, so what they did, whoever tries to like correct this problem uses the globe mechanics where it says that there's a 24-hour Antarctic sunlight. And then they make this graph where they have this light going around the ice wall. That's where they screw shit up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so ODD actually is the one that screwed this up. So I actually have the video footage of ODD trying to like take the time and date animations and stick them on top of the Gleason's map. And the problem is time and date is going to light up the Antarctic 24 hours. You get what I mean? In December and January, they're going to light that shit up. And so he went ahead and just like ran with that. And a lot of people run with that. So they'll go ahead and light up the ice wall. And then they'll say that 24-hour Antarctic sunlight.
We missed super chats. I wasn't even looking. Well,
I'll
mine was.
go back and get them. So it says, in order for each location to get its proper amount of sunlight year-round with a circling sun, the sun would have to be equipped with a shape-shifting lampshade.
Yes, it would. That's a great meme, and that is totally accurate. Could have
Now,
been
I
better.
got a lot of shit for that. When I made that in 2017, people were like, "You're a shill! You're a globe shill! No!" They were like so mad at me. I'm just like, "Hey guys."
And when
I'm
I
just
told
showing
them
you."
the sun, yeah, and when I told them the sun didn't work, they said, "You followed Jake the asshole."
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
is
So
that? It sounds like someone I need to follow. It sounds like smart guy.
I got shunned from the flat Earth cult
Me
community.
too.
And in 2017, the shunning was hellacious because
Ugh,
people's
can't imagine.
people's lives were invested in that map.
Yeah.
It's Jesus's personal map that he handed to you, and Jake the asshole, the devil, said it's wrong. That's
Well, I
the way
don't
they
know
treat
how
it.
a Christian could follow that map because it's definitely not biblical.
They'll say that their Bible says that the Earth sits upon a circle or whatever, and they say
But
that their
that's the
Bible
only thing that lines up. It also says north is an extreme end and south is an extreme end. And it also says the earth has ends. So, yeah.
So, yeah, so it caused a lot of shock waves to say, I think that the Earth is flat, but I don't think that that map's right. And of course, then people
It does.
want you to be the one to fix it. And so I always told people,
Yeah.
hey,
show us
I
the
don't
map.
exactly know how to fix all this stuff, you know?
Yeah, if that map doesn't work, then show us the right map. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I have to have a
little
perfect one.
Yeah,
And then,
I'm like,
then
I
they get mad at me.
determined.
They get mad if I tell them I don't have one. So there was a time where I lost a bunch of subscribers because
Oh,
they were
man.
mad that I debunked the map, mad that I didn't have a perfect model to show them. And a lot of people went back to that circle map. But eventually, they found their way. A lot of people over the last few years have come to the realization I was right. And
Yeah,
that I wasn't the
was
shill
slowly
trying to
turning it
bring
around.
down your cult community. I wasn't trying to hurt the little cult community. I was the most popular dude in the
Yeah.
cult. All right. There was a time where I was literally like the most popular dude because I was real. I would go around and meet people. I set up my own flat earth gatherings and shit. I wasn't like some guy in Thailand who nobody gets to meet, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I got all the super chats. I think I got them all. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys how a guy like ODD can take that AE map and then put that wrong animation over the top of it and trick a lot of people into thinking that that's the way it works.
Because they're not going as deep as we did. That's why. They just kind of like the globe, you know. People don't question it.
Well, I think
Want their
ODD.
answer handed on a platter.
I think ODD is one of them personally.
A show
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah. All right. Let me here. Oh, this one's good. The daylight hours. This one's awesome. We'll show this whole clip. All right. I'll mute us up.
Like, what shape does it make? Does it make a circle that goes around in a circle? Like this? Or wait, does it make a half pie shape? It's a half pie shape that goes around. So half the Earth is always illuminated, right? While the other half is dark. Which is it? Is it a circle that goes around the circle like a spotlight going around the North Pole? Or is it a half pie that goes around?
Specific number of daylight hours in specific locations during specific times of the year absolutely debunk and smash the AE map and circle sun. And here is why.
You may not call yourself a superhero, but you have many superpowers. The joint chiropractor.
There are plenty of observable proofs that prove the circle model is a wrong model of flat Earth. There's no way for the model to produce the daylight hours that are real. I mean, millions of people live in these southern cities. We can show examples of that with animations and show how it's impossible for it to reflect reality. You set the sun's reach, so it can't reach Antarctica, but it's just giving the Arctic 24-hour light, as we know it does in the June summer. Then we look at what the reach is. We look at how many daylight hours is that sun giving, and up north it's giving, plenty. It's giving 12 to 14, but down south, I mean, you can pause it anywhere, and you can see that along those latitudes where the cities are, it's only given 5 or 6 hours of daylight, then it's going dark again. But they receive 10 hours of daylight on June the 21st or more. This model can't give the reality. A model must match reality. I mean, it's a basic fail of the Gleason's disk model, and it's a common sense, commonly known. Daylight hours can't be faked. The number of daylight hours can't be faked. So you could set the sun's reach so it's now a lot bigger. Now it will give 10 hours of daylight to those places where they actually receive it. But on the flip side, if you look in the north now, everywhere within the Tropic of Cancer really is getting 24-hour light, which again we know is not reality. It's inherently flawed because of the time zones. An hour up in Canada is worth 20 minutes down south, and you're done. So the sun's reach needs to be three times further down south. It doesn't make sense. And then we have the equidistant solstices 6 months apart, north and south. Here's two pairs of examples. Again, pause, check it out for yourself. Go check some other places. Do your own research. Well, this is truth. And some people do recognise that there's a problem with the daylight hours on the disk model. So we get animations like this, and clearly, what is the sun doing? What is that sun doing? You've got a dark patch and then a light patch behind it, and then it goes to an egg shape in the June solstice. And people will look at it and go, "Oh, right, well, that's how it works," because it is actually giving the right daylight hours there. Believe it or not, it is now giving plenty of sunshine to south and obviously the Antarctic 24-hour daylight. And it's all to do with simply the way they've created this animation. It's the rectangular Mercator map. You can see it's the same graphics from timeanddate.com, and they put it through a polar coordinate filter and sequenced it, so it's animated. And that will satisfy some people. Say, well, that's how it works. Watch that. The sun can't light up, the North Pole there, but it can light up places much, much further. It's nonsense.
It was demonstrated very clearly in that last clip that you cannot light up a circular portion of the circular disk and get all the time zones correct with the exact number of daylight hours. And you also can't just light up half of the AE map like a half pie shape and spin it around and get all the specific number of daylight hours correct. Believe it or not, in order to get the specific number of daylight hours anywhere near correct, the shape of the sun would have to morph throughout the year, and it would have to go from being a circle shape to a half pie shape to this weird shape on the right that I'm not sure how the sun would make that. So the egg size night portion there, while the sun is making this other weird shape, I don't know how that could even be possible. And you can also see that Antarctica is lit up all the way around on that one. But flat earthers will say there is no 24-hour sun in the South Pole. So here's another huge problem. Why are flat earthers trying to make this map work by going to timeanddate.com and using timeanddate.com graphics to wrap around this AE map to try to make the sunlight hours work. If you go to timeanddate.com to get your sunlight hours to work and you use their graphics, you're going to end up lighting up Antarctica like on the far right, because timeanddate.com is based on the globe mechanics. So, flat earthers going to timeanddate.com to correct the problems presented here presents a whole new problem in and of itself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is ODD. Today is Thursday, October 20th, 2016. I basically am just about to document something that I was going to do anyway. And I just figured that this might give you guys some insights or ways of looking at things when you're going about your research. I'm going to take 24 of these still images from timeanddate.com, one for each hour of the day. And then I'm going to convert them all to azimuthal equidistant Gleason style maps, the map that I happen to believe in. And I don't mind if you think I'm a shill because I believe in this map. All right, I got all my images. Now I just need to put them in my Premiere. Yeah, so there you have it, man. There's that looks about right to me. So I don't know. Hopefully this helps somebody out there. We'll see you next time.
Have you been smoking? I can smell it. Hickory.
Now, when ODD tried to correct the problem of a circular sun not providing the proper amount of specific daylight hours in specific locations, when he went to timeanddate.com and then he wrapped their animations around this AE map, what he did was he created this new problem where the sun's shape that it creates with light has to mold throughout the year. That is a huge problem. And if you think that globe heads who are sworn to protect the globe are going to overlook this problem, well, they aren't.
Exactly. And that's what bothers me the most, that we have this map that can be so easily debunked. And the deeper you go into it, the worse it gets.
So yeah, so what ODD did, he went to timeanddate.com, he took their graphics and then stuck it on the Gleason map and then sequenced it. Well, they have 24-hour sun on timeanddate.com because it's based on the globe. And so you can't say out of one end of your mouth that there's no South Pole, there's no 24-hour sun in the South Pole, and then light up the fucking ice wall like that. you get what I mean? Like, and so they talk out of both ends of their ass. And so ODD used to be a lot more active, and he used to be like a lot bigger name, but he's kind of fallen off. He might even be in jail for all I know. I don't know. But last I saw, he was hanging with David Weiss, who's definitely 100% as shilly as it gets. And so there's a crew who keeps running with this map, no matter how many times it gets debunked and showed to be wrong, no matter how many issues. They just say, well, it's not perfect, but it's the best we got. That's what they say.
Yeah, it's the best we got, so we should just go for it. Instead, I said to these same people, don't you want to explore other options? Do we just want to keep going with the United Nations map, the one that the Flat Earth Society handed to us?
Okay, we have a concaver in the chat, which I was hoping for. And Corey LeBlanc says 24-hour sun makes perfect sense in the concave Earth. Yeah, that's because you're inside of a cell that's basically inverted globe. So it's basically the globe, but everything's inverted. And so, yeah, you guys get to say that everything works perfectly. My problem is I don't see the sun come down in the morning and go up at night. And you're also telling me that the oceans are compressed up against the walls equally, up against the ceiling and the walls. Everything's compressed equally up against the walls. And so it's the opposite of gravity. Now you have compression. And China is up there. So in the concave model, China is up. To me, that just doesn't jive with my senses. I don't know about you, Shay, but
No, I looked into concave. It has a similar map though. This map back here is kind of
well, no, it's the globe just flipped inside out.
Inside, yeah.
And so what they say is that all their shit works because they have Antarctica down there as the same way, and they have a north star with the trails going the opposite direction as their bottom trail. So instead, they have what they say is in the sky. When they look up in the night sky, they say it's a celestial sphere, that the stars and stuff are in a ball. So you're inside of a cell, but you're looking up at a ball.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem right to me either.
It doesn't seem right to me.
In fact, since I have the ability, I should probably just like pull it up, huh? Because we have a concaver here. And so maybe we should have this guy come on and present some concave stuff to us.
Do you want to come on here, Corey?
Let me find their most recent map. Yes. It's like Lord Stephen Christ is like their shill leader.
I hate that name. His name.
Let me share the screen over here.
Lord Christopher Stevens.
Okay, let me stop sharing the screen and then share the concave one. Okay.
Who calls himself Lord?
Oh, he was a fruit. He even made a video about me. It was like he was creepy.
Yeah, he's Lord. You're asshole.
Okay.
I like him better.
So you see right here how it's like you're inside of this shell. Are you seeing that?
Yep.
Oh gosh, darn it. I didn't mean to do that. So you're inside this shell, and they say that you're looking up into a celestial sphere, and all the planets and stars are actually in this celestial sphere in the middle. And so they'll claim that all their distances and their model and everything adds up perfectly. But then they'll show you like, some lame stuff, like some old pictures and be like, look, see? And then they'll be like, see? Oh, no, that's the flat earth one. Hold on. So they'll show stuff like this. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say that we live inside the earth. It just, honestly, it doesn't jive with my senses.
Mm-mm.
And so I've asked these guys, how come the sun doesn't come? Because to me, if let's say I live on any spot on this concave earth, I feel like the sun's going to come fucking down in the morning and go up at night. You know what I mean? Like they have these little tiny suns and moons the same way as the flat earth does going around. So I feel like you would see the sun if it was a concave wall going up both ways. You know what I mean? Then to me, the sun should come down in the morning and go up at night. Does that make sense on a And when I ask them about that, I've had them tell me that that's what does happen, but you don't notice it and it's refracted the other way because of the atmosphere, which to me is a stupid answer. And so I want somebody who like can answer this shit a little better, because when I ask how come the sun doesn't come down in the morning and go up at night, they're telling me like, oh, it does. That makes so.
David wants to know who invented these concave maps. You got a super chat.
I don't know who exactly invented them. I couldn't tell you like where the first one came from. But for instance, like here's a good way to do that. See?
Yeah, they used that map.
And see, what they do is they say everything works perfect, but then that puts you walking up the walls. Like, don't you like the whole walking on a flat plane thing? It just has like this sensical thing to it. It just seems logical. Whereas now, instead of walking on a ball, now you're walking up the walls of the ball. So you're like, I'm walking up the walls, right? Like, we're going to take a walk up the walls. Walking up the walls. I'm going to China. China's up here. Just got to walk up this wall to get there. All right. Yep. Anthony says, aloha from Maui. Yep, Earth is flat AF. That means as fuck.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey, Maui. I've never been to Hawaii. Shay's been, but I haven't been.
Yeah.
We were talking about it just the other night about how we don't know if it's even in the right spot, that Hawaii might be
exactly.
Like
yeah, we need
exactly right.
Anthony, we need you to look at your coordinates on your phone. Send them to me.
Did I miss anybody? Oh yeah, Javid, who invented those old maps. Yeah, I don't have the answer for every single map because some of them are supposedly old, but when it comes to supposedly old in the internet, just think about it. Anything you look up in Google Images that's like, this is from the 1800s or whatever, take it with a grain of salt. This is from 1669, when I 69 your mom. Take it with a grain of salt.
All history.
You know, history, anything before you were born, just take it with a grain of salt and just know that history can be manipulated. Hell, the future can be manipulated. So, of course, history can be too, especially when it comes to the intranet. Don't even get me started on the Mandela effect.
You muted yourself.
I did?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, am I back or no?
Yes.
Oh, so that whole time they couldn't hear me?
Oh, just for a second.
Oh.
Most of the time we could. Now we can't.
Okay. Javid says the end of the Interstellar movie when Matthew McConaughey he actually spelled it as you would pronounce it. McConaughey. When Matthew McConaughey woke up, he was in a concave, correct? I actually don't watch movies, and I stopped watching movies a while ago because I'm like a crotchety old man who thinks that movies used to be good when I was a kid, and now that they all suck. So I stopped watching movies, so I didn't see that one. I think the last space movie that I saw was Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. I think that's the last space movie. That's how dated I am as far as watching movie. That's how rarely I watch a movie. All right. Thanks, Javid. I appreciate that, buddy. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Let's see. Wally's Warzone says we should see if we can calculate army time on a Gleason's map. Well, I reckon you could. Cheddar Bomb says aloha from the Big Island. Sweet. We got multiple people from Hawaii watching. Nice. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Now, the people who were in like Europe, Eastern Europe, it's like 2, 3 a.m. for them. They were bitching that we should have went earlier because they have to go to work and they can't.
Oh, we could go earlier for our next live.
So next time we have to try and go like earlier in the day, maybe noon or 1 p.m. or something, so that more people around the world can watch, because the Europeans were a little PO'd. Well, not PO'd, but a few of them were like, I have to go to work. That's 3 a.m.
Okay, we'll go earlier.
Yeah.
When we talk about the map.
All right. Oh, I got someone in Australia here too. XYZ Australia here. That's what I love about live streaming, is in having a fan base all over the world. Is that I have subs. So for instance, like when I asked one of my subs in Australia to point a compass at the sun, you know, having someone to do an experiment like that over on the other side of the world who you can trust, you know, who's not like trying to screw you over, and then repeat the experiment with someone in Tasmania who also follows your channel. So it's cool when you have people across the world tuning in, you know.
That is awesome. Did you see Javid super chat?
The issue with concave is the same with the globe. No proof of curve. Yeah, they'll tell you different. They'll tell you that that pilots have to constantly pull up because of the upward curvature. So I've heard concavers claim that their best proof is like that pilots have to always pull up because you'll crash. So you can't fly level with the Earth without pulling up a little bit. So they say you do have to pull up a little bit, and that the planes are designed because of this, so they don't run into the ground, like that they are designed for concave flight. So I've heard them use that the flight as an example of their sort of proof. But again, I personally have never seen enough proof to put my faith in that model, and so I still leave that possibility open. Like if by chance we're completely wrong here, and the water is being compressed up against the walls, then perhaps in some fantasy world that does happen. Oh, and also one of their ones that they talk about here. I'll bring you up, Shay. They use a cup of frozen water, so with a magnet. So they take a magnet and they take like a piece of fishing line or string, and they suspend the magnet in the middle of a cup of water and then put that in the freezer. And what it does is it doesn't freeze the water around the magnet. It creates this like open space. So when it freezes, there's like this air pocket in there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I might even be able to, I should probably just look it up and show you guys. Stop sharing that. What am I looking at right now? Okay, me and you. Okay. So this is something that concavers send me, is a magnet frozen in water. Pull that up.
David says, but pilots don't pull up on concave or down on a globe. They reach altitude and cruise, correct? Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so I've had concavers send me this as a proof.
Can you put Javid's last comment up?
Yeah. But pilots don't pull up on concave or down on a globe. They reach altitude and cruise, correct? Well, according to concavers, they'll tell you it's the globe and the opposite. And what you're looking at on screen is a magnet frozen into water. And so I've had them tell me that this is basically what's going on. And like in that celestial sphere in the middle is a gigantic magnet, more powerful than you could possibly imagine. And that it's creating this sphere of open space and inside the block of ice. So I found that interesting, but you get the problem, like that's like frozen inside of like a shell of ice like that. Where's your water in your
that
land?
Makes me feel claustrophobic.
Like my thing is like my debunk of that is, where's the water in the land? Model it with water and land. If it's just ice and empty space, that's not the same as a concave model. And then if you put a sun inside there, well, now you got problems with it melting your ice barrier. So you have to make that same exact thing happen, but it not be ice, in that there be a celestial sphere in the middle, and then things have to be able to be alive inside there. And so I try to tell somebody to some way and somehow model that. They can't model that neither. And so the only excuse they give me is that the celestial sphere in the middle of Earth is so big that it's able to do you know, keep all the ocean, all the waters above and below held back, and it compresses us up against the walls so that we're walking on the walls like this, and all the water, all the ocean water around China is up above your head, compressed above your head. And to me, that's not consistent with reality. Here's what bothers me about concave too, is that the globers don't ever fucking go after the concavers. It seems like they never make videos.
They're friends.
Like the flat Earth Craig won't make a video about concavers or hollow earthers. He's only interested in flat earthers. Simon Dan doesn't seem to care about concavers. So the globers who are sworn to protect the globe, they don't seem to have a problem with anybody like saying that it's the opposite of a globe. Because the opposite of a globe ain't flat. The opposite is this inside out fucking thing.
The moon map, where people are saying the moon is the map. Is this brand new, or is this like concave? It's always been there.
Oh, the moon thing showed up like a couple of years ago. Like 2020 is when the moon crater shit showed up. 2015, 16, 17, there was not moon crater shit.
Is there like stuff out there we can look at with that map? The moon map?
1 second. So you want to look at the moon crater one?
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, it's Crater Earth. Actually, this shows me a bunch of actual moon maps with craters. No, Crater Earth map.
We got a new super chat from David. David is awesome.
Actually, a guy's video. I should, instead of this images, I should just pull up the video. It's gosh, what's it called?
Yeah, you showed me a video.
Vibe of Cosmo. Yeah, Vibe of Cosmo.
Yep.
That's what.
That one.
Let me pull it up real fast. And go ahead and read the super chat for me, please, while I'm pulling this up.
He said the moon reflection guy makes cool videos. Yeah, but it's not right.
Yeah, there's some issues with that too. We can get into that right now, actually.
Yeah, it's also not right. I got excited a little bit when I heard about the shadow on the moon, but then when I saw the actual map, I was like, yeah, that's not it either. Can't be. You have to be able to navigate it.
Okay, let me go ahead and share this. Share.
Crater Earth and moon map are two different. Crater Earth and moon map are two different things.
No. They're both a similar psyop. They're both wrong. So basically, here's the deal. Vibe of Cosmos says that this is a map. This whole thing is a map, and he turns it into a map just as you're watching it. Whereas God Lamastevi says we live inside of a tiny crater, and that this is a big, gigantic, huge thing. So they both are on opposite ends of the same psyop. So here's what Vibe of Cosmo does. He fills in the dark spots with green, and then he fills in these light spots with blue, and he calls that a map. Oh, here. See?
I need to see the names of the land.
See that? Yeah. And so some of the continents do kind of line up, but then he's also got extra places that don't exist on here. Yeah. He's got Atlantis, Limeria, Terra Vista. So he puts extra islands on here, which is kind of I don't know. In my opinion, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And so my problem is he doesn't show how the sun, like where the sun, like show me the daylight hours and the sun rotation on that. You get what I'm saying? So this guy does that. He literally just converts the moon into a map like that. Another problem I don't like about this guy is that he doesn't show his face.
I hate that.
And so if you don't show your face and you don't have an like an actual name, and I can't hear you actually, and you don't speak your actual voice. So he doesn't use his voice. He doesn't speak in his videos. It's just like, it's like what we're looking at now, just with shitty music. So if I was to turn on the sound, it's like, it's just like techno crap. So he won't talk or show his face, leading me to question, how do we know it's not Bob from Globebusters? Right? How do you know this isn't just David Weiss or Bob from Globebusters figuring out a new way to scam you? You know what I mean? Seems to me that'd be an awesome way to scam somebody, is to like have several different maps and models that you could have, you know, oh, I have 50,000 subscribers on this channel, and then over on this other channel I pretend to be this totally other guy and I push the moon map, and then I've got 20,000 subs over there, and then I also have this other channel where I contradict myself and I pretend to be a glober and debunk myself. See how it works? Like, so this Terra Vista way off to the side, that's not even like a so then when I ask, like, what about these spots on the map that he has that don't actually exist? People are like, well, maybe they're underwater. Maybe it's an old map of the Earth. So now we have a not right old map that's on the moon?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds far-fetched to me. So this is one moon map deal, and I don't like this one either. And I think that this is a rabbit hole to bullshit land. I can't think of any other way to put it. This is a rabbit hole that leads you to the land of bullshit, where you're going to waste your time and you're going to look like a moron when you start talking about this and presenting this to anyone.
And yes, Chris, I agree. If you don't show your face on YouTube, there's something up with that. That's something else I like about Jake. He's a real person with his real name. Shows us his real life, his other interests besides the flat Earth.
I go out of my way to show you how damn real I am.
Yeah.
I literally have like cried on camera to be like, I don't care if they see me cry. I want them to know how real I am. I want everyone to know I'm so real.
We're real.
None of these
Our masks aren't coming off.
No, you don't even need a mask. Like, what I'm saying is there are people that have channels like this that it's like, to me, it's just obvious shill shit. And so that's one of them. And then there's another guy who says that we live inside of a moon crater. So he'll say that the whole entire Earth and everything fits inside one of these little craters. And he also says that Walt Disney World is the true map and that Hitler is Walt Disney. There's a guy that says that, and he's got a growing fan base of people who actually listen to him. So my thing is if this guy Vibe Cosmo is saying that the whole moon is a map, and then the God Lamashtavi guy says, no, it's a crater. The map's inside of a crater. Let's say one of those guys is right and one of those guys is wrong. That means the guy who's wrong is way fucking wrong. And that's only if one of them's right. You see what I'm saying? So you have two guys with completely different models here, but they're both using the moon. So one guy will say we're inside that tiny little moon crater. Everything you know is inside the tiny moon crater. Well, what does that mean? That means we're in a circle. So then you're right back to the AE map sitting inside of a crater or some sort of circular map. Because how the hell is a rectangle crater going to work on if there's no rectangle craters on the moon? You can't say that Earth is a rectangle map, right? That's inside of a moon crater. So the moon crater guys always end up reverting back to a circular model and a circular sun, which doesn't work, of course. So again, when you start talking about maps being on the moon, I always go back to show me the sun and show me how the sun and the daylight hours work on your map. And if they can't provide that,
it was one of our first conversations. You're like, show me what the sun does.
Yeah, so Shay actually has attempted to make her own map, but I grilled her a little bit, and it's not perfect. But the fact that she tried, I give her kudos and I commend her for even trying because
if we don't, then they're like, okay, that map doesn't work, so let me see yours. Well,
Yeah.
mine is way closer to what it has to be. I mean, you have to be able to navigate it.
Now, here, I'm going to pull this up and I'll let you explain to people why this is retarded. So I'm going to pull something up on screen, and then when you see it, you're going to laugh, and then you're going to, let me get it. Where's that? Ah, here it is. Okay.
I hate this one.
Okay, I'll let you take over for a minute. I got to. I'm gonna pee real quick, but you can explain why those outside lands and ice that have never been discovered by anyone that we know or proven, why that's bullshit.
We can't even get out of the ice wall in the north or the south, so we're not going to these places. There's not extra land. There's I think there's 33 pieces of land here, if I remember right. But yeah, this map is definitely created as a psyop. And I know it has a lot to do with Admiral Byrd, the people that believe that there's other land masses, but I really can't believe, like, this map of all maps, people use it sometimes as a profile picture, because it's just, I mean, if there was other land behind other ice walls, like, we have to penetrate the first ice wall first, and we haven't been able to do that yet. I actually have this book I just bought called The Northwest Passage, and you know how many explorers have died trying to find their way out of the ice wall in the north? So I do believe we are surrounded by an ice wall, but I believe that there's two ends, that there's a north end and south end.
Okay, so
just based on exploration.
I've seen people in my comment section and on Facebook who have that as a profile picture.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
and to me, that's like admitting that you're a retard. It's like you should have a profile picture that says "I'm a tard muffin," because
these people have an Admiral Byrd tattoo on their leg too.
I understand that people think that these extra land masses, like in their mind, looks cool, but nobody has proven that any of those places exist. Not a shred of proof that beyond the ice wall that there's this other like pool, like what is it? One of those lazy pools, like in a water park. So it's like in a water park.
Space.
It's like a water park. Look, they have this lazy pool that goes around the outside of the AE map. So if you get outside the AE map, then you get to be in the lazy pool, and they have all these extra land masses. And then, like, we're supposed to believe, like this one right here says the moving islands. No one ever stopped to think, like, the moving islands? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
moving islands are just...
They go around each day or year or something? And then look, this
so
sun...
instead the flat earth moves in a circle.
Yeah, and then this sun way over here, like, what sort of time zones and daylight hours are they going to have with a sun right here that has to somehow go all the way around this damn... And at the end of the day, no one's proven that any of those places exist.
Can you see the moon? If you go outside right now, can you see what it looks like?
I'll be right back.
Because I can't see it. I'm like kind of in the woods. So you guys, right now, the sun and the moon are directly across from each other in the sky. And we always have a full moon when that happens. So we're trying to figure out what makes it red. What is making it turn red? Is there another star in between them? I don't know. We don't know. See if Jay can see it. But we should be having the blood moon eclipse tonight. Right now, I'm pretty sure it should be going on. But when the eclipse is happening, they're facing each other. It's not passing. It's facing each other.
They chemmed both horizons.
Can any of you guys see it?
So right now, I can't see it.
Too.
I can't see it. They chemmed both horizons.
It'd be cool if we could.
But we still have more time. Hopefully, it'll pop out soon.
If somebody can see it and then you want to join us live, let us know. It's raining here.
So we'll wrap this up soon, and then we'll all go
screw this map.
We'll all go look for the moon. But I just want to point out that there are flat earthers who have this as their profile picture.
Yeah.
Like I get it that it's interesting to look at like some land that doesn't exist and think of it in your mind, like, hey, I wonder if they're hiding land. But that doesn't mean you should go posting something like this and say, hey,
and
maybe
the center part's wrong anyway.
Yeah, and be like, hey, this is what it looks like, maybe. It's like, yeah, or maybe you're completely wrong and stupid. You don't have proof of any of this. So I don't like the how far some, quote unquote woke people will go to make themselves look stupid.
Yeah, and you don't know if they're useful idiots or they're just another agent show person.
That's the problem. There are useful idiots. People do fall for shit. And
so this is why I deleted my Facebook. I didn't know who my real friends were anymore and who the shill idiots were. Like, I was friends with ODD on Facebook. I was friends with freaking Eric Dubé on Facebook. And
Eric Dubé used to leave comments on my videos telling me how much he likes my videos. All of those guys kissed my ass.
He was so nice to me. They were so nice to me too.
I was Jared's favorite flat earther. He told me I was his favorite, and he invited me on the show. And now I can't stand the dude. He's like an enemy of mine.
And I made videos of that flat Earth clock, that tracking app.
So also, people will mention maybe there's more than one sun, and I am open to the possibility that maybe there is another sun. But you also have to remember that there's pictures like this that are fake. There's pictures like this that are lens flares, camera errors. And so you can't just like take someone's picture as word for it. And if you are going to put two suns into the mix, I haven't seen a flat earther throw two suns in the mix at the same time and create a working model. In fact, I've never really seen anyone try and throw two suns in the mix on a serious model, like take a serious stab at throwing two suns in there. But you can find pictures out there that look like there might be two suns. But I say take it with a grain of salt like anything else, because a lot of these can be lens flares or even just fake, just to throw you off the trail.
I do think there's a possibility of a reflection in the dome with the sun. And that
I know, but then again, I'm the type of guy that says prove dome. You know what I mean? So
we have to have a dome. That's how the water cycle works. We're like in a giant.
I know. Well, I've heard.
Doesn't the Big Dipper prove the dome? It looks like a big crack in the sky.
I don't think it proves. Nothing proves dome to my satisfaction besides you or me touching the sun, touching it like Jim Carrey style. Like, there it is. I'm at the edge of the actual Earth, and it is a structure. That's when I'll say for sure. I know.
So I for sure, like, my proof. What would make me feel like, yes, there's definitely a dome, and that's the Bible. So. And I know that's not, you have to touch it, but
we're not going to agree 100% on everything. But the fact is, we agree on most of what we've talked about today. And so we know that, like, trying to get two people to agree on every single thing on this subject can be damn near impossible, because we all have our thoughts and ideas on what the Earth might be, how big it might be, whether or not they're hiding land from us. And so just those questions can lead people's minds to really your imagination to run wild. And sometimes we have to step back and realize that, like, okay, some of these maps and models we can say for sure are out the window. You know what I mean? Like circular map with the sun going in a circle. They'll say, oh, maybe beyond the ice wall there's other ponds with AE maps and sun's going in a circle. Well, once you realize the sun can't go in a circle like that, then that takes away the possibility of there being other ponds with circle suns.
You got a super chat from Javid.
Oh, sweet. Let me pull that up. Javid says, Jake, proof of a dome is we can't go past low Earth orbit. You know, there's an interesting point there, and there's also that thing that they did. I don't know if they were trying to bust through the dome, but there were those 2 times where they called it swamp gas, where the SpaceX rocket looked like it was punching through the dome.
Yeah, it looks like it's a boat in the sky on
Have
water.
you seen that footage, Shay? The SpaceX rocket that kind of looks like it's punching through the dome. We could actually do like a video on. We could even show that as well next time. I was thinking we could wrap this one up pretty quick, but before we go, I did want to show this video clip. So this is what the AE mappers will do to try to make their dome and then their sun work with their dome. They'll claim that their dome is causing reflections and that the reflections are perfectly.
I'm gonna claim something similar to that. You just watch, but mine's gonna make sense and theirs doesn't.
They'll say that it perfectly creates all the sunlight hours and gets everything just perfect with all these reflections off the dome. Let me show that one. Here we go.
Oh, this one, yeah. This could suck some people in.
I'm gonna do a demonstration today where I take this here pen flashlight and I'm gonna shine this pen flashlight at this here glass paperweight. Okay, this glass paperweight is gonna sit on top of this picture of the AE map right here, and it's gonna symbolize the dome. Okay. And then I'm going to take that pen flashlight and I'm going to turn it around there in like a circle type pattern. And I'm going to make all the shapes that the sun makes inside that there glass dome. You watch. Now see, I takes the flashlight and I start moving it around like this. And as you can see, there's reflections up and in there off the dome. This is due to the atmosphere that is located inside of the glass paperweight. You see there's an atmosphere all up inside there, and see when I'm shining the flashlight in there, it makes all these reflections happen. And that's what's happening inside the dome on the flat earth. Everything works perfectly inside there just like this. It's as if God or the creator is sitting outside the dome with a little pen flashlight just like I am, and he's making the sun go around there just like this. And this is how it works. It goes around here just like this. This is how the world works. Now, some folks say you can't light up all the specific areas with all the specific daylight hours doing it this way, but I'm here to prove you wrong, that you can do it just like this. You see how I'm lighting up everything just perfect? Everything worked just perfect in there.
All right, so that was me making fun of the video that I think it was Bob from Globebusters who put that out. I'm pretty sure it was Bob. So the AE mappers put this video out to prove to guys like me that you can take this flashlight, spin it around this glass paperweight, and that you could simulate the daylight hours and get the shape of that daylight to change by changing the direction of the pen a little bit. You see what I'm saying? So they were saying that this debunks what I said about the sun having to have a lampshade over the top and that the daylight hours won't work. But I immediately shot this shit down by saying this. Do you live inside solid glass? Hey, Shay, right now, are you inside of, are you locked inside of solid glass?
You can't see it above me?
So when I ask this, they're like, well, no, but that symbolizes the atmosphere. I'm like, well, why don't you put an atmosphere inside of it? Why don't you have a glass shell over like a saucer of water? And then you take your flashlight and then spin it around and show it to me with water and air inside there in a glass shell rather than a hunk of glass that's solid. Because this suggests to me, this experiment, that we live inside of a hunk of glass on top of a paperweight. And so there's no atmosphere inside of a glass paperweight.
Glass.
Agreed. There's no atmosphere because it's solid glass. And so I had to explain that we don't live in glass. Yes, I've had to explain this a few times because Bob from Globebusters will whip out this experiment and say that this debunks what I say. So when I say that you can't get the daylight hours correct, he whips out a pen flashlight and does this shit right here. But here's the problem again. Where's the pen? Is the pen on the inside or is it on the outside?
Yes, Wally, I agree. Like, I wondered the same thing after I realized the map is wrong and other things are wrong. How much crap did I learn from shills that I repeated?
So, okay, in this picture, where's the sun?
Inside the dome.
Okay. And now where's the sun?
Outside.
So here's the problem. They don't ever show you, they never show you the sun outside the dome. All those dome pictures are always with the sun inside there. But Bob, to make this model look like it's working, has to use the pen flashlight outside the paperweight. Because of course he can't get the pen flashlight inside of a solid glass paperweight. And again, I have to be the one that logically explains this to people, that here's your sun inside your dome, right? Sitting above the land, and then right across here.
Yeah, so the reflection's coming off the inside.
So once you stick your sun outside here, well, that means what? Is your moon outside there too? So you can't show this picture and then turn around and do this. You get what I'm saying? And again, see the problem here? Ushuaia, Tasmania, both in daylight, and then the middle has to be in North Pole. The North Pole.
The 24-hour sun is real. I talked to somebody that lives there.
And so, if you were to look at Ushuaia, which is at the tippity tip of South America, the very bottom of South America, that's the southernmost town that you can get to. That's next to the ice wall or Antarctica. So Ushuaia is the closest to that ice wall, Antarctica, as you're going to get. They get 17 hours of sunlight during December. They can actually see the sun for 17 hours, and they experience twilight after that. So in this demonstration, you can see the pen flashlight right here, right? And it's shining all the way across to light up Ushuaia with this little sliver of light. Ushuaia has to be lit up for 17 hours out of the 24. So this section of darkness in between, where everything has to be dark, somehow this sun way back here on the edge of the Earth, going around the edge of the plate, is somehow lighting up Ushuaia also on the edge, way over here. But there's darkness in between the two. See the problem? See the gigantic issue?
Problem.
Yeah, and you know what? David Weiss doesn't like people bringing up Ushuaia. So this time of year, the sun's closer to us in the north, so they're not getting that much sunlight. So he won't bring it up during January and December. So December and January, he won't deal with anyone bringing up Ushuaia. I've seen him tell people that no, there's not 17 hours there. He even straight up denies it. So you can actually have people who live in Ushuaia get on the phone with you, and you can tell them to go look outside. You can even look up cameras there. You can there's several different ways that you can prove to yourself that people, let's say in Ushuaia, are seeing daylight for about 17 hours in December and January. And so on this model, you have to spin this, in this experiment, you have to spin this flashlight around the paperweight and pretend that it's with this little sliver of light that the sun's lighting that area up. Meanwhile, and then in between, there's darkness.
And somehow a reflection on the outside does that. That doesn't make any sense.
And so they'll make an excuse that it's a reflection of the sun. But my thing is, a reflection of the sun isn't going to give you summertime heat. Like if I light a fire and then on the opposite side of the room, I have a mirror, and then I look at the mirror and I see a reflection of fire. I can't put my hands over the reflection and get heat from a reflected fire. Right. So at the same time, when the sun comes up, you feel the warmth from the sun and it changes the temperature immediately. So even if it's cold outside at nighttime, it's always even colder. So you can't really find times at night where it's going to be colder than it is during the daytime, leading me to believe that the sun is indeed putting off heat. And so if someone's going to tell me that possibly we're seeing a reflection of the sun, then how in the hell are we getting heat off of a reflected sun? You know what I mean? Like, are you telling me reflected sunshine is the same thing as
So when I'm
actual
going to tell
sunshine?
you that the sun is doing that, it'll be morning in one place and evening in the other. And so one place would be warm and one place would still be chilly. So I'm glad you're saying all of this because it's making me get my ducks in a row. Yeah.
And so this is another one that they tried to debunk me with. So this video is basically aimed at me, and then I took their video and turned it into this, what we're looking at. So this meme that you see on the screen, I made this when I looked up how many hours in Ushuaia there were, daylight hours. It absolutely just smashes this model.
Yeah.
And so they do this this total like schoolyard childlike demonstration shit, and they expect you to just not think for a second that maybe you don't live inside solid glass. Like, that was my first reaction, is like, we don't live inside glass. And then they'll say, oh, well, it's like the dome and there's an atmosphere. And I'm like, there's no atmosphere inside that paperweight. And the fact that I've had to tell people that there's no atmosphere in a paperweight just goes to the of logic that I had to fight with this crew. And so Jaron and Bob, their excuses range from this to there's a bundt cake pan over the top and it's a toroidal field. It's a toroidal bundt cake. And I'm always like, model it and show me. Because the flat earther will say that a glober can't model the globe. But I'm like, hey, show me your flat earth map and with a sun and light and try and light it up. It's just as hard. You can't make that work either.
Okay, so David has a super chat and he's asking me if my friend filmed the 24-hour sun or is it just 24-hour daylight? And I do believe it's just 24-hour daylight. And then somebody else said something earlier about how the sun isn't just light. And I do think light is dispersed and it's different. So, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask him.
I haven't personally
been
up there to see the 24-hour sun, but I have seen some videos, and a few of them show, like in northern Alaska, it dips below the horizon, but it stays daylight, and then it pops back up again.
I just know the sun is extremely close to that part of the earth at that time, and the horizon, the elevation is so high that it just never goes below or never rises completely over during those times of darkness and 24
When it comes
hours.
to stuff I don't know and haven't proven for myself, I usually just admit it and concede to it.
Yeah.
Because I do know for a fact that during January and December, this model and map is just impossible. So during the summer months is when you'll see Jaron and David Weiss and Bob, and anyone touting this map. That's when they come out of the woodworks, because it looks like it works during the summer months, because they can claim that that the north is getting 24-hour light, and they can claim the south is dark, and then the sunrise and sunset angles do somewhat match more during the summer months. But again, when we hit December, January, that's when all their sun paths and all their daylight hours go out the window.
Yeah.
And so I've even seen the shills take breaks during those months for Christmas vacation, because they don't want to deal with anyone debunking their map in real time.
I definitely stressed a couple of them out. So David has another super chat.
Oh, question. Yeah. Pull that one up. Javid says, Jake, I've seen Bill Nye slip out something about how the plants grow in a greenhouse under a dome because the glass protects the plants from some specific rays. Could that explain how we live in a dome? Yeah, but Bill Nye is also a fake science guy. He's a Disney actor shill. So anything
He
he
does
says.
talk out of both sides of his mouth, though. He
Yeah.
does say we're in an enclosed system, but then he tries to say that we're on a globe. So
Yeah,
True
yeah,
that
you got to
guy.
be careful with shills like that. They do talk out of both ends of their mouth. Good point. I actually, one of my most popular videos I ever did, I debunked Bill Nye. I did a Jake the Asshole versus Bill Nye, and it got like 150,000 views or something, but it got attacked by the trolls so hard. Oh my God, the trolls were so angry at me. for
Someone asked
debunking
if we're
the
going
theory.
to keep going live together. They think that we work well together. Going Crazy said that.
Well, so far she's been a lot of fun to stream with.
As long as I don't vote for Trump.
and
I don't vote, so
I'm thinking maybe like on a once a week kind of basis. I'm not going to do every single stream with Shay. I'm going to do some streams alone, like I always did, and then I'm also going to. I also want to bring on other guests as well. But I do want to keep Shay in the fold as like a once a week type guest.
I was the first.
To where we can do like a stream together once a week, but then I'll still do other streams by myself. And so there's plenty of stuff. And then she has her own channel where she can do her own solo stuff.
Yes.
So,
and now I'm pretty sure I'll have 1,000 subs and I'll be able to do this on my channel as well. And invite guests.
Have you pumped your link?
I'll have Jake on my channel.
Have you pumped your link recently? Pump your link again.
No, I will. And then Javid has another super chat.
All right. So yeah, post your link in chat. I think I got both of Javid's
Oh,
chats.
I'm so sorry I'm saying his name wrong. Javid. I'm gonna get it right.
Oh, no, there it is right there. Okay. Shay, what's your BitChute? Do you have a BitChute, Shay?
I do have a BitChute. I'll go grab that link too.
All right, Shay. Yeah, post both your links down below. Okay. I'll get rid of this you schwa deal.
Oh, I have 1,010. Yay.
There you go.
Guess what, you guys? I am going to get legit because I thought this was going to happen. So I have a laptop so I can.
Yay.
I'm going to level up like Jake did.
Well, I bought this.
Level up.
I bought this streaming software for a year. So I have this set up for the next year. So it's bought and paid for. And Shay did well at the casino tonight, and she's she went and bought a laptop.
I won a laptop.
So that's looking good. So yes, you definitely will see us stream again together, and then on our next stream, she wanted to show her map that she made, and we want to show you guys some weird flights with the international dateline that don't quite add up. So in the next stream, we'll show Shay's map. And it's got a few issues, but there's some interesting things with the international dateline. Yeah. And so we'll get into that in the next stream. But okay, this stream, we wanted to go ahead and just go back to some basic stuff that I might not have talked about for a while, just in case anybody is newer to the channel, and just refresh everyone's memory as to, some globe debunks and some AE map debunks and stuff like that. So yeah,
fun stuff. I'll do my BitChute after we're all done. I'll put it in the comments.
All right. Michael, yeah, good point, Michael. We're going to get into that totally. Michael Feskin says the dateline is jagged for no good reason.
Thank you to everybody that subbed.
Not only is it jagged,
man,
there's one section where it looks like it has this like puzzle piece, like mushroom head that sticks out.
Can we just talk about that land in between Russia?
Oh yeah, in between Russia and Alaska, there's these islands called Diomede Islands, and so we're kind of trying to figure out what the deal is with the dateline running right in between there. But then it goes jagged towards Russia, and then when you get down to all these tropical islands south that you think that the dateline's just going to run straight south, then it does this weird thing where it has this like mushroom head poke out. And I was showing her like, if you were to go through this mushroom head part of the date line, you would actually like cross like into the other day, back to tomorrow, and then back to yesterday again, like more than once. That's weird. Doesn't make any sense. And so we'll get into let's say we'll check out some other maps, other flat Earth maps. We'll check out Shay's map, and maybe we can even get Corey or a concaver on to present their map and see if there's anything to that. But
invite Lord Christopher, whatever his
well,
name.
I think he went to I think he died. I think he went to prison and then he died or
Wasn't
something.
he married to like 2 different women? I remember something being weird about his relationship.
He was a weird dude.
He was scary. I think he thought he was Jesus.
You're picking up
Thanks,
subs
Powers.
right and left.
Thanks. And thanks, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for trusting me.
All right. So before we head out, I wanted to play a song. This one's dedicated to the shills. I haven't played this one in a while. This one is the Baby Truther diss track. Have you heard the Baby Truther diss track before, Shay?
No, I can't wait.
Oh, well, you're in for a treat. Let me go ahead and share that. And then after that, we'll go ahead and say our goodbyes and sign off. And then we can all go look at the moon if it's out and try and watch that eclipse. All right, Baby Truther diss track. Here we go. All right, and this song is really awesome, so pay attention to the lyrics. And I'm going to mute us here in a second.
And so I exploit myself for the right price because I want to book the gig. I want to book the gig.
Truth the show versus Jay the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. It's the baby truth the show versus Jay the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed.
Sharon Campanella is a psychopath bitch, and his wife sat on his best friend's dick. Sharonism wants to measure my tool because he is a homosexual fool. I'ma fuck him up with his own damn song like his best friend fucked his wife with his song. I'ma chop him up and feed him to my dog Rusty. He'll decompose the body when it takes a poop and pee.
Baby truth the show versus Jay the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. It's the baby truth the show versus Jay the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed.
Chelsea Kerwin should be looking like a man, and Alex Stein is a failed comedian. David Weiss wanna track you down with his app, steal and sell your info, make a ton of cash. It's a worldwide cult and a giant scam, getting you to buy into the new world plan. The Baby Truther crew is some punk ass bitches. Jake the asshole, gonna leave them all in stitches.
Baby truth the show versus Jake the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. It's the baby truth the show versus Jake the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. Baby truth the show versus Jake the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. It's the baby truth the show versus Jake the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. Baby truth the show versus Jake the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. It's the baby truth the show versus Jake the asshole. It's a baby Truth the show. Now you're getting exposed. It's the baby truth the show versus Jake the asshole. It's a baby truth the show. Now you're getting exposed.
All right, so that's the official diss track. What do you think?
Yeah, that was pretty clever.
Yeah, he didn't like that too much.
I don't think he would.
He did not enjoy it nearly as much as everyone else. And we got PTSD Joe with a super sticker, super chat.
I didn't answer his question.
Javid, I'll put it back up.
Oh, okay.
Javid said, "Does Witsit get it?" Witsit is one of those. Is one of them. He's one of these goobers. He's an AE map goober. Javid says, "Jake, if you fight Jaren, what weight class would be fair?" Oh, there's no. He's like over. He's like 220 pounds, I would guess. I'm only 150 pounds, so he's like 6'4". I know he's like 6'3", 6'4", and he looks like he's about 210, 220 range. I know he looks like he's over 200. So there's no way for me to get anywhere up near that. Even if I like took steroids and worked out and put on 30 pounds of muscle, that would still only put me at 180. But I ain't afraid of that dude. So if I ever did run into him and he thought he was going to try something, well, he just might find out what it's like to fight someone who's trained or who has been trained. Because I doubt very seriously that Jaren was ever trained by anyone to do anything besides rip people off. Anyway, so yeah, a fight between me and Jaren won't ever happen. I just like exposing him. I'm not ever going to really fight any of these shills because I don't reckon I'm ever going to run into them and it'll ever come to that. But I don't mind exposing them. Shit. Oops, that's not the one I meant to do. There we go. So Javid says, Shay, you can go ahead and read it and answer it.
Yes, square shape, but it also fits inside of a circle. I think the pyramid has a lot of clues, and I do believe there's 2 magnetic ends. And yep, 4 corners with a dome with an ice wall. North Pole is one end, and South Pole is the opposite. Yes, you nailed it. Pretty much it. And that's what we're going to talk about, and I'll talk about why things on that map actually work versus the AE United Nations map.
Well, according to some of the shills, well, you should start with the AE map because it's easier to understand. And if you use a square or a rectangle map, then they won't become flat earthers. So you should start by using the AE map. Yeah, see, they'll try and pull some shit like that. You should lie to people and tell them it's the circle map because it's easier to understand. And then rip it away from them once they believe you and tell them that's wrong too.
So I base my map on the Bible and the Book of Enoch, and what that says is in the center of the earth. That's what I believe is in the center of the earth, and I'm really excited to talk about it.
All right.
Week.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because the lunar eclipse is going on. So if you can see the moon, go out there, take a look at it, document it. We will go ahead and line up our next stream for, I don't know, maybe midweek, Wednesday, Thursday or something. So we don't have to wait an entire week.
We'll do it earlier for the people on the other side of the country.
So we'll try and line that up, and I'll also promote it a day in advance again so that you guys get a reminder and a notification. So we'll bring Shay back to show off her map, and we'll save that for next time. But thank you guys for joining us. I got a ton of super chat donations tonight, which is awesome. I thank you guys for that. It's nice to be able to run a stream like this and get compensated at the same time. And so I appreciate it more than you guys know that I get to have this strange, wonderful life where I get to do stuff like this for a living. So you have anything left you want to say, Shay, before we sign off here?
I just want to say thank you to everyone that subscribed tonight. Thank you for everyone that gave Jake a super chat. And I look forward to talking to you guys some more. And thank you, Jake, for having me.
And all you guys who feel like you got left out because maybe I didn't read your messages and stuff, I always, at the end of every stream, go back and read the entire chat replay. So I literally see every single message. And I'm sad that Saul Rosenberg didn't show up because I had missed a super chat of his last time. So I went back last week and watched the replay. So I will watch this replay. So if you were saying stuff and I didn't read your chat and you feel left out, like I wasn't paying attention to you, don't fear, don't fret, don't frown. I will read every single message that gets put in that chat replay. I always do. So
someone asked for to see my shirt. Can you?
Oh, I just want to see your boobs. No, I'm just kidding.
So, well, there's boobs in the shirt, but. Oh, God,
all right, guys.
So
So we'll go ahead and get off here, and everyone can go outside and look at the moon. And I will catch all you wonderful people next time. Thank you for joining me and Shay, and wherever you are, whatever you are, have a wonderful night, morning, evening, afternoon, all that stuff. And we will catch you next time on the flat plane.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.